Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Volusia Flagler Cares. Want to introduce my co-host, Curtis Kirk, and our guest today is Brittany Arnold, and Brittany Arnold is the Director of Programs Operations for the Southeast Volusia Habitat for Humanity.
Long time.
Welcome. That you are like the perfect example of why we created this show, which is to help nonprofits kind of get the word out. And uh, full disclosure, everybody, Brittany Arnold is also a Kiwanian in the Southeast Volusia Kiwanis Club. So I heard her talking about some of the wonderful accomplishments that they've just had. And I thought, man, people don't really know kind of what Habitat for Humanity does. And so this was the perfect opportunity to have somebody who actually knows what they're talking about to come in and share with us, all about Habitat for Humanity. So, Brittany Arnold, just in case you don't know, she has been kind of doing benevolent management. I'm just going to put it that way
Mhm.
for about 7 years now. From
Definitely
the
started my passion, with nonprofit 7 years ago. Been in management since I was 19, so a long time.
Oh, wow, that's why you
Yeah.
always have everything together at her Kiwanis meetings.
Yeah.
Makes me a good secretary, I guess, right?
Right. But you have good people. Are you the
Yes.
standard type of volunteer, or I mean, do you have like older women or young guys? I mean, who's like the person that you guys need to come in the most?
To volunteer with us.
Yeah.
I think we have a big variety. So I would say we have a good amount of retired volunteers
Hmm.
because of our area. So our
Right.
demographics in the area, we have a lot of people that love to retire to the beautiful Sunshine State and need something to do and want to have that camaraderie and friendship and feel like they're giving back to the community. So we have a good amount of retired people in there that come and do that on the construction and the restore. So all ages for
Yeah.
that. My primary focus is basically anybody 18 and up for construction and restore. That allows them to do basically all the same things that a what do we call a competent person could do. So
Well,
they
sure.
can learn how to do hand tools and power tools and painting, and then at the restore they can help with donations and sorting and different things like that. So we really welcome everybody. There are opportunities for youth, but it's not as often. We do a park cleanup. We have some painting days and landscaping days that the youth can be a part of as well. But
Well,
we
you
really
do other
welcome everybody.
projects then besides building and renovating homes?
Yeah, so we accept volunteers on our restore as well. So our restore helps fund our building of the construction of new construction houses, renovating construction, and we have 3 repair programs. So it helps with that too. But I
Oh.
always love my admin volunteers. My mind, I even told my mom to be one. So admin volunteers really help get special events going. That we do a bake sale, so they really help us kind of get those things together.
Well, what's the mission of Habitat for Humanity? I mean, is it just to build houses? What's the whole deal?
Yeah. So our mission is bringing people together to build homes, communities, and hope with a vision that everyone. We believe that everyone should have a decent place to live. And we think that that should start in Southeast Volusia County. So, a little biased on that one, but definitely home focused. But, it's all about community as well. So, when
Mm-hmm.
you can get around um, strengthening the community, whether that's through building relationships with volunteers, other nonprofits, and then even working towards the goal of eventually helping a family get into their house or maybe fixing their house. Maybe it's unsafe to live and they need help. We're all about being a hand up and not a hand out. So, helping them live somewhere that's decent and safe for their long term housing.
Wow. Well, now,
Brittany,
oh, go ahead, Curtis.
Brittany, don't you also help seniors and all that with little projects at their home, like putting steps in or handrails and all that stuff too?
Yep. So we
Okay.
have 3 repair programs. Um, One of them is pretty simple. It's called A Brush with Kindness, which is a super cute name. That one is going to be simpler items. Typically, the volunteers could help with, whether that's going to be pressure washing and painting.
Right.
But I would say our bread and butter for the repair programs is called Critical Home Repair. And that really is focused on life and safety issues. So we do have a lot of seniors in our community, and a lot of those repairs aren't something that they can do on their own. Taking a tub and converting it to a shower, adding handrails so that they can live in their house longer. We
Right.
also have helped, fix holes in a roof, or, sometimes the floors cave out if they're in like a mobile home or something like that. So we're really helping them live safely where they currently are for those existing homeowners
Mm-hmm.
that are low income. So we're really helping in more than one ways. We're only one of 12 habitats in the state, and there's almost 49 of us. But only 12 of them have repair programs. So it's pretty cool that we do that. And then our third repair program is disaster recovery, which started after Hurricane Ian.
Mm-hmm.
And I pray that we don't have to use that one too often, but it is there in case we do.
I got to tell you, training is everything when a disaster
Mm-hmm.
hits. You don't have time to play around. And I lived down in the Keys before I moved up here, and they had so much experience that it was almost like, oh, okay, this, that, but everything
Another
was
one.
set. It was ready. So, planning ahead like you guys do and potentially helping people plan ahead for themselves who couldn't do it on their own. I mean, again, I'm in awe. So, but I do want to, because every time you hear Habitat for Humanity, the first thing you think about is President Jimmy Carter.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
but it wasn't him though, was it? Did he found it or?
No, actually, it was founded in 1976 by the Fuller family, and that was founded in Americus, Georgia, and which is pretty cool, not too far from here. And it was really started to eliminate substandard housing and really have it being equitable for everyone. We want to have safe housing for everyone, regardless of any of our appearance differences or whatnot. And so when, you know, President Carter got it, the notion like, oh, that's going on in my backyard because he's from, similar to that area, he started volunteering, and that heart of volunteering
Right.
really got a lot of people engaged in it across the nation. So he really got our name on the map,
Yeah.
and allowed us to help more people with his projects. And we even got to do um, like a couple months ago a build in his honor, and our women build was in his wife's honor. So
Oh,
it's
how
pretty
cool is
cool.
that?
Yeah, just to honor them and appreciate the impact that they did, and just really demonstrating the importance of volunteering and giving back to the community, which is
Well,
so
that's
important.
that's obviously, as our Kiwanians and everything else that we do, we understand what that means, but not a lot of people get the end result. You know, you and I have been there when the mom has come up and said, "Man,
Mhm.
my son needed this," or you know what I'm talking about. And
Yep.
that's almost as much as you know winning something or whatever. But what you guys do is for real. It's for life. I mean, these are real life altering, life changing things, not just a morning or an afternoon. So kudos and congratulations on that. Now,
Thank
but you did bring up about kind of like open. Uh, is it a religious organization that doesn't mind if somebody is has a different religion? What to explain that?
So we are a nonprofit Christian organization, but
Okay.
we're non-denominational, and basically our work is to demonstrate God's love by being his hands and feet. And so we are helping people, we're building that community, we're providing hope, and one of our core values at our affiliate is positive energy. So we're sharing that positive energy, that love to others. But you don't have to be, working for us. You don't have to volunteer with us, and or being one of our families. You're not required to follow a certain religion. We're just going to love you anyways, and it's just kind of going to go from there.
Well, then
But
yeah.
everybody's welcome.
Well, that leads to uh, I guess everybody's welcome, but there's still some criteria. There's an application. There's a process to it. Can you kind of explain what that is?
Yeah. So there's everybody's welcome to volunteer with us, but the programs themselves do have qualifications. So we have our homeownership program, which is the most popular and the most well known, right? And then we have the repair programs, which I talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
The repair programs are for existing homeowners that fall below 80% of the average median income in our area. But there's not a minimum necessarily on that, because some of those people are making less than $1,000 a month. So very, in need of additional assistance. And then for our homeownership program, we have a lot more qualifications. So it is a commitment. We're all about partnership. So it's not just a 30-year partnership. We want you to be an ambassador for life.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, you have to live or work in our area. So our area is from New Smyrna, Edgewater, Oak Hill to Osteen and Samsula.
Right.
And every habitat has their own geographic area. So if you're not sure, if you're not in my area, I'm sorry, I can't help you, but I can refer you to someone
Well, right.
in a different area. So we're all a little bit unique in that. So my qualifications aren't going to be exactly the same, but a lot of them are very similar. So we focus on your need for affordable housing, your
Right.
willingness to partner with us, it's a partnership, and ability to afford an affordable mortgage, which is kind of interesting because there's misconceptions, right? So these
Yeah.
people, I would love to have as my neighbors. So we have a credit and background check for all of them. Everybody over 18 has to pass the background check and sex offender check,
Sure.
and they have to put in sweat equity. So sweat equity is kind of our way of volunteering our
Yeah.
service, kind of teaching them to give back. And in our affiliate, they
Ante
have to put
up.
in, yeah, a lot. um, so they're putting hours on the construction site, building their own home and the homes of others. They have to put in hours at our restore, which funds our building. And they have to put in over 40 hours in education with me. So we're going over how to
Whoa.
budget, how to save, um, how to be a good homeowner, what's a mortgage, what's an escrow,
Sure.
things that school didn't really teach us, but we need to know, as future homeowners, how
Mm-hmm.
to be a good neighbor. Um, so those are kind of items that we go over, and it's really important that educational aspect to to help them, because they're gonna a lot of them are single moms with children, and so they can take what they
Right.
learned and teach their children, so that they can have a better future as well. So it's kind of a full cycle program.
No, it really is.
Yeah,
Speaking of that, I have an idea. Do you work with the Atlantic Technical Center through Daytona State College?
ATC. Yes. So we are actually, I think it's next week. They're actually opening a cool new welding lab for people that are wanting to learn how to weld. So they reached out to us to see about trying that equipment out. So it's kind of cool. So we're trying to partner with our local colleges, especially the trade schools. Trades are really important and they're very much needed.
Yeah.
And a lot of people kind of shied away from them, in recent years. And we really need that, in a
Oh,
house,
sure.
you have
Yeah.
so
Well,
many different
4-year
people.
degrees and, literature.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. But my buddy Curtis here, we've been talking and, for donations and scholarships, funnel some of that money, at least some of it, to
Hmm.
the ATC. And
Well,
exactly, but
another thing.
but
Boy,
I'm also thinking the reverse side. There's usually like final exams and tests and things like that, and it might be something to work with them. I'm really high on Daytona State. Their Cork and Fork is
Yeah.
this Sunday, and it should be a lot of fun. But they I know that they not many people just go and talk to them and ask them about stuff, and
Yeah.
just what we have found, they have been so accommodating. It's crazy. But anyway, let's talk some more about you. So, so then again, so you had mentioned that they have to go through like a background check, things like
Yeah.
that. And then is there anything else? Do they have to have like dependents? Is it military? Is there an age group or, what is that?
Good questions. And people can find all of our qualifications online as well. We also have a self evaluation survey that we just started that kind of gives people an idea of our Habitat affiliate, what the qualifications are, because everyone is slightly different.
Right.
Um, there isn't an age specific. You just have to be old enough to sign a legal agreement. So you have to be over 18, right? Um, and we have people in my last few classes, I've had people from 25 to one of my families just turned 80. So we're not necessarily, if you think that you would qualify, you're always welcome to apply.
Right.
And if you don't 100% meet the qualifications, we do have a mentorship program starting up that allows people to kind of figure out how to get from a no to a yes for those circumstances that can. Um,
Hmm.
there are a few that can't, but those are very rare.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
we're going to be looking at your bank statements. We're going to be looking at your pay stubs, your income. So some people have Social Security, some people have disability, so it's a fixed income. Or maybe you're working a traditional job and you make an hourly income. So we'll do a financial evaluation. We're
Sure.
going to run those checks. And then we even do a home visit. So a home visit is kind of
Wow.
interesting. Yep. So two of our home visit committee members will come over to their house and they're going to see um, if they're ready to be a homeowner, right? So
Right.
you're not going to have a landlord. You can't call me up every 5 minutes to go change your filters. So,
No, yeah, you have to think about
yeah,
all of that stuff,
to
right?
learn.
Sprinklers are
And
broken.
yeah, exactly. So we kind of teach you how to do most of that stuff on your own. Um, but we kind of make sure that they're not, that they're in need. So that they're not living in a mansion on beachside, that they have
Right.
a need for affordable housing. And most of the time that need is because it's unaffordable. So if we have a family that's making less than 30, making more, sorry, if they're spending more than 35% of their household income on somewhere
Right.
to live, it's unaffordable.
Right. Right. I
So
think that's the
they,
same threshold as the VA.
mhm, yeah. And so we service those low income families. Right now, we're servicing the average median income for our area that's 40 to 80% based on the HUD number. So you have to, we have the minimum and maximum qualifications per household size that we're looking at, but
Hmm.
we're going to also be looking at your debt to income ratios, which is hard if you
Sure.
don't have a lot of money. Sometimes if you have too high of a car payment, or too many credit cards or something, that
Hmm.
might trip you up a little bit. But we'll work with you if you're willing to partner with us. Um, but again, it's a partnership. I can't do everything for you because you're going to have to get in the
Right.
program. And then once you're a homeowner, you got to figure it out too. So,
Well, that's exactly it. You've got to become resourceful, and that's
mhm.
just part of the game,
Yes.
as we all know. Now, how do you get your money? What happens to it? Is there um, are they
Grants.
sold? I mean, how do you guys raise money, and then what happens within that system that I guess continues to feed the organization, right?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. So, like I said, there's a lot of different habitats. And so the money that I raise is coming into my community. So I can only raise money within Southeast Volusia. And so most of our funds come from our restore. So that comes from donations and purchases at the restore. And then I also have grants. We're non governmental, so I don't get funding from the government except for um, it's like a shop grant. So that's going to be for infrastructure items, so things that are outside of the house. Um, so it's just kind of interesting,
Wow.
right? So it's a lot of fundraising. I'm very thankful for our restore. They do an
I was
amazing
going to
job
say
with what
that's
they
got to be
have,
the
you
linchpin
know.
for you.
Yes, very,
Man,
very thankful.
Brittany,
And
do you get many supplies from homeowners that have leftover lumber and that sort of thing? Do they bring stuff to the restore like that, or how's that work?
Yep. So we do have what we call it's the barn part of the restore. So we do accept construction material donations there. Most of the time, we won't be able to use them on the new builds just because sometimes, like, we had someone donate granite countertops one time, which is beautiful. But
right,
if I give one homeowner granite countertops, everybody else is going to be real upset with me. So I have to be very kind of mindful of
right.
what we kind of put in the houses, and
Right.
to also
So did you
when they
put
get in
them
their
in your
house,
house?
I went.
Just to be fair.
They were so cute. They were
Good
so
one,
cute.
Kelly.
Sometimes we might take something from donations, depending on what it is,
Sure.
and put it in the houses if I have like a good amount of them. Um, with their understanding, like not every house is going to be exactly the
Yeah.
same, but we are lucky that we do have a donated product portal through Habitat for Humanity International. And sometimes we can get like Whirlpool appliances at a discount because we try to
Okay.
strive for
That's a good
um,
deal.
Yeah.
very energy efficient, appliances and water sense water products to keep their utility bills low. So we try to focus on those kind of items. It's not a custom house, but it is definitely beautiful and efficient
Hey,
for their
it's a
family,
home.
fits their needs. Yes.
And hopefully, if the economy kind of starts getting on track, they have an opportunity to build equity and get started.
Mhm.
That's the thing. I'm a realtor as well, and I've watched management companies and all of that suck out that $500 a month that
Yeah.
used to be, the guy who it was going to had a retirement home up north, and
Hmm.
the you can't really afford to come in, and if you're just a worker, you're really, even though we're still probably more affordable than a lot of places, it's
Hmm.
still out of reach with the wages that are paid down here. That's if
Yeah.
you're not disabled or
Yeah.
whatever. But anyway, so let's focus on the good stuff. Uh, how many
Yes.
houses or homes have you guys built when do you do your measurements? Is it an annual thing or?
Yeah, so I do reports all the time. Unfortunately, that's one of my favorite things to do. But so Habitat of Southeast Volusia has been around this is our 36th year, which is pretty cool. In that time, we've built over 100 and I think 158, 160 houses. This year, our plan is to get 12 houses completed, which we've never done before. Last year, we did 9 houses, which we've also never done before. So that was a record breaking year. But it all really depends, right? Because we know cost of materials have gone up. So that really kind of hurts us a little bit because
Yeah.
if the house costs more, we can only build, so
No,
many
it's
houses.
it's and it's unfortunate, but it's
Yes.
going to be a sizable
Mm-hmm.
jump.
It's a difference. And I'm still thankful that we do have the repair programs as well because there's 11,000 people in Volusia County that need affordable housing.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's a big number. And I'm like, I think we're doing pretty good at our current numbers, but there's always plenty of room for improvement. But if we can keep someone in their existing housing that they own by fixing it, then it doesn't add to that
right.
population. So having the repair programs really helps us um, serve more people in that way. But we're always trying to figure out ways where we can, serve more people in the community and increase those numbers. Because it's important. There's a lot of need. I have a lot of
Yeah, there's
people in
some
their
gaps,
homework
huh?
stage. Yeah. I know when I first started, I had like 150 applications that I was going through, and I was like, oh, it was kind of a lot. And that was just people that kind of knew and turned in at the right time.
Right.
Um, but there's definitely a lot of need for affordable housing, and our mortgage is very unique. We partner with the County of Volusia. We're
Okay.
a HBA partner, and so all of our homeowners have 3 mortgages on their house, which is kind of different, right? So the
Yeah.
first mortgage is affordable to them. So all of us could, you, Curtis, and I could have qualify for a 3-bedroom house based on
Right.
our household size, right? None of our mortgage payment would be the same because it's based on our household income. So we look at 30% of your household's income
Okay.
being your
An
payment,
ability to
which is pretty cool.
repay.
Ability to repay an affordable mortgage, yes. So it's
Yeah.
kind of different. And right now, we're actually currently 0% interest mortgages, which is pretty mind blowing.
That is
Um,
real. That is so cool.
yeah,
God,
it's pretty
I
mind
hope
blowing.
everybody tunes into this thing
Yeah.
because, man, there's a lot of stuff you've told us that I don't
Yes.
think people understand. It's why at our Kiwanis meeting, it was like,
Mhm.
Brittany, I think it's time that we shared what you guys do, with the people that don't really know. We all have an
Yes.
idea, but it's, pretty much, Jimmy Carter and the, those
Housing.
aprons.
Yeah.
But
Yes. We do
now,
a lot more, so it's
so
good.
like that, I saw, and we have a video that we're going to play after this.
Yeah.
But there was a whole portion of it where it was like these ladies in pink. I mean, is that like a local group? Is that how did
That's funny. Yes. So we actually do we have builds going on all the time. And we accept regular volunteers on the construction site Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays from 8
Mhm.
to 12. And then we have private build days for like a business wanting to do a team building activity or just a group or civic organization, typically on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. So one of the other aspects is a group build. Um, a group team build. So we have women build, which is all those sweet ladies in their pink t-shirts.
Yeah.
Um, so that was the one we did that over, I think, 4 houses, which was pretty intense. We had
Wow.
4 going at the same time, and I think
Yeah.
almost 50 ladies showed up to that, including council women and
You're kidding.
community
That's
leaders, and
great.
it was pretty awesome. It was
Did you
pretty
have
awesome.
did you have people that were just there to like cheer who couldn't really man a hammer or hold it, person a hammer?
We learned. Yeah. Our construction team is really good about teaching those like myself that aren't skilled in that.
Right.
I'm a more of a paperwork, talented type of person, but they taught, depending on which site you were on, you were either learning how to paint the right way, which I didn't even know there was a right way for a long time, how to, put together a cabinet, how to build a fence, like there
Yeah.
was so much going on. And then I did a little Habitat Olympics. So who can nail the most,
Oh,
hammer the most
nice.
nails within a minute and,
Yeah.
just like kind of fun
Like
games
those
like that.
lumberjack competition things.
Yes, we have fun. And then they got to have like a nice little lunch after. So I'm looking forward to doing more of those. Um, I think the next one, we're trying to get a veterans build together, trying to get a veteran into the
Definitely want to know
program.
about
So that
that
would be
for
really
sure.
good. Yeah. Yes.
Now,
We
does that
calculate.
then go through like a hometown heroes mortgage process if it's a veteran?
No. So they can be the same kind of mortgage process that we would. I just calculate their income slightly different. So some of the, and this has changed over the years, but um, some people see the maximum amount and are veterans and they're like, oh, well, because I was, retired from the military, or maybe you got military um, medically discharged or something.
Sure.
They think that they don't qualify, but we calculate the income slightly different being a special program. So they would still get that, if they apply soon,
Right.
that 0% interest mortgage and, the same affordability, which is really amazing. Um, but they still have to put in work like everybody else.
Well,
Once
like
you're
you
once
said,
you're a
yeah,
family partner, you're a family partner. But I would love to have some more veterans in the programs. South of us in Brevard County, there's actually a whole village of female veterans that the Habitat, they call it Space Coast Habitat, built. So it's pretty cool.
that is
They have
cool,
a
man.
whole entire little subdivision over there that's just dedicated to female veterans. So it's pretty cool. There's a big
Well,
push for that.
as Kiwanians, we're trying to boost membership and get people to come out and volunteer, and it really is difficult. It's not like it used to
Mhm.
be. And I can remember watching a hometown or a Habitat for Humanity home, and there'd be like 120 some people standing out front, waving and cheering and all of that. But
Mhm.
how you guys do what you do and getting those numbers, it's really a testament, Brittany, that you guys have your act together. And what that means is you are good stewards of the money. You figured out
Yes.
ways to stretch a dollar further than anyone else possibly can. And, if I'm going to be donating, yeah, I'd rather have it go directly into the community and
Yes.
know that it will be stretched as far as it can go. That's what you're expecting. So I am just thrilled to death that not only is this program available, but that somebody like you is kind of, manning the ship, not manning the ship. What am I just keep, is the captain of the ship as it sails along. But
Yes.
really, Brittany, you have been wonderful. The mission of Habitat for Humanity is wonderful. I'd like to have you back, especially when we're going to like cover either like a groundbreaking or
Yeah.
even better, home completion. That would be good. And now, because you have the restore,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put some numbers and some different links up here. So if you could, what are the best things to donate?
Yeah. So the restore is open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5, and
Okay.
they are currently accepting donations the
Yes.
same days, Monday through Saturday, from 9 to 1. Some items do get full faster. We don't have a big storage space. Hopefully one day that'll change, but we
Yes,
don't at the
ma'am.
moment.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
furniture, I would say, is one of our top sellers.
Well,
So
Right.
we love
okay.
some good furniture, working appliances, um, working fixtures, those kind of items always do really well. Um, tools. We have the barn that has more of the construction-y side items. But yeah, so we're open to accepting donations every day that they're
Well, and
open
you
and
guys,
available.
besides just the you do clothing,
Yes, we do clothing.
furniture.
Yeah.
I That's where I really, in fact, Curtis and I, I'll bet you we've donated $25,000, but we didn't really know
Yeah.
about you. We were donating to the one in Port Orange. Uh,
Yes.
how
Yeah.
many restores and uh, Habitat for Humanity affiliates, I guess, I don't know, are there in Volusia County?
Yeah. So it's kind of cool. We just got done with conference. So there's almost 49 habitats just in Florida alone. And Florida is the number one producing state of homes. So I love that among all the habitats. We're a
Congratulations.
part of a global organization. So um, there's habitats in Florida, and they're all across the nation, but there are also habitats in almost every country of the world, which is pretty amazing. But we're unique in Volusia County because there's three habitats in Volusia County.
Right.
Um, so how kind of explain it is from Port Orange up to Ormond is Greater Volusia, and
Okay.
then we have West Volusia, which has like DeLand and Pearson and out that way. So we're kind of unique having three in one county, but we all do pretty much the same thing. We have the same purpose. Our qualifications are
Sure.
slightly different, build schedule,
But
donations, that
there's
kind of thing.
obviously a need
Yes.
because, when you look at the numbers of how I don't, it's a weird thing, what's successful, and when you're dealing in nonprofits, it's kind of inverted, but you guys really are. You're doing some killer numbers for the
Hmm.
size of your organization. Um, So if all of them are firing, all three of them in the county, we are killing it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And our habitat is on the smaller side,
Uh
so
huh.
we're called like intermediate as far as our geography goes. I think we're like 42nd smallest out of the 49, but we're actually the 12th most productive, which is pretty awesome for
Wow.
my little habitat.
Let's
Um,
pat Brittany on the back.
I'm proud of it. We have a really
You
good
should
team,
be.
and I think that's important. We have 85% of our workforce is volunteers. And so we have some really dedicated volunteers. We have great staff. And I'm
We're gonna
just, and
and we're gonna put the link to the volunteers so that
mhm,
people can go ahead and click right into there. I am going to have the application QR code, and
okay.
the I didn't know what to do. I didn't see really a link for donating because it's really hard to do that, but I did have Rachel Phillips at habitatsev.org. Is that correct?
That would be if you have questions about volunteering,
Oh,
then you can go to her. Yeah. So we have a donation page for finances. Of course, we'll take all the funds because every penny helps going to more, hammers and nails.
yep.
Um, so we do have a PayPal account from there, and of course, they'll accept donations at the store. That way as well. And then even for like the holidays, we've had one of my favorite donors. She comes and she does. her Christmas gifts. She donates to us in their honor, and that's part of her Christmas gift. So, you know, there's lots of
Wow.
cool ways to donate, and you could do that for like birthdays and stuff because sometimes we have friends that they have enough, and you know, what better way than for giving back in their honor? So, plenty of ways on there to do that as well. And we also have a pickup and delivery service for the Restore.
Oh,
For
great.
those larger items, yeah. You would just call the Restore's main line, that 428-5010 number, and schedule that. They're pretty busy during donation hours, so they typically call everybody back in the later afternoon time.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's great to know. I'm sure, though, you need to give some lead time. Like, you can't just say, come pick it up today.
Right, yeah, they're pretty scheduled out. They do like Edgewater one day, they do New Smyrna Beachside a different day, New Smyrna Mainland. So they kind of organize it that way just to save on gas and keep things organized so that somebody's not waiting until 5 o'clock for their pickup.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to factor in everything that you can. But again, Brittany, I am just in awe of how organized you are. The other day when I was talking to you, you were like, answering stuff, doing emails. It was the coolest thing. So I want to say we appreciate you from the Kiwanis side. And I'm really glad I've gotten to know you and understand a little bit more about Habitat for Humanity and what you guys are doing, because not everybody is quite, they're not killing it like you guys are.
Yeah.
So, anyway, thank you so much. Everybody, we'll be back next week with some more thoughtful, inspiring, and hopefully entertaining content to promote our local nonprofit organizations in Volusia and Flagler counties. So, be nice to each other. We'll see you next week.